Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Angry Money Pod. This is our first episode in 2 years, and it feels so good to be back. And today's episode is going to be really special. Um, for the very first time, we are joined by a very special guest whose energy is truly contagious. He's the CEO and founder of Salad Africa, and we'll get to know more about Chikodi and the company he is building during this episode.
In this episode, we explored the details of building a robust network, tackling the common challenges faced when building a network, and how to create a standout impression in when applying for accelerators, securing funds as a founder. This episode was truly insightful, and I'm very confident you'll find it enlightening. Without further ado, let's get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's episode of the Angry Money Pod. It's so good
Welcome,
to be
welcome.
back. It's so good to be
Good to
back.
be here.
I know it took so long, but we're here already. That's all that matters. For the first time on the Angry Money Pod, like today's episode, I'm so excited about it. First, because we're back. Yes, I know I said it before, but yes, we're back. And we have a special guest.
Drum
Yes, for the
rolls.
first. For the first time, and definitely not the last time on the pod. We'll have more
Yeah.
guests coming on, and this particular guest, is he has the energy, he has the excitement, he has the vibe. So, hello everyone, welcome, Chikodi. Hi, Chikodi.
Hi guys.
Welcome
Good
to the pod. Welcome to
afternoon.
the pod. It's so nice to have you guys. So nice to
So
have you
It's
guys.
nice.
So let me do a quick introduction, then so everybody will know who's on the pod. So Chukodi is the founder of Salad Africa. Salad Africa is on a mission to improve the lives of employees across Africa by providing them with financial wellness solutions. Salad is backed by two global venture capital, Northkin and Texas. Before Salad Africa, Chukodi was doing big things like moving,
Moving things
making
in the
big moves,
industry.
right? And he worked with big companies like Jumia, Konga, among many others. So again, welcome Chukodi to the pod. How are you
Welcome, welcome,
doing?
welcome.
So how are you doing? How has the year been for you? How do you feel?
I'm good, man. I mean, you guys reached out, came running because obviously because I miss you guys. Um,
Aw.
it's no secret that we were in the same textiles cohorts, and just for the listeners, anytime we are together, it's always good energy. We kind of
Yeah.
feed off each other's good energy, so any excuse to kind of get together, I'm down for it. So I'm very happy to be here. I'm maybe almost as excited, maybe even more excited than you guys, to get this opportunity. So I'm not even going to. People who are listening are just like on the side. It's just like we are just like alone
We're
here.
just here.
Those these things exist. So
Actually.
those this.
And funny thing is that the one always planning the let's meet up, and it's always needed.
Exactly.
Actually, always
I
needed.
take my when they call you an anchor. I take my role as the anchor very seriously.
Yes, you
I know when
do.
you guys are going to me.
Yes, you do. So, Jam, how has it been on your side? How are you doing? How has the year been? How many shiggies have you
Yeah,
seen?
continuous shaggy, but we are live. I think I wasn't awake 30 minutes ago. So it's all good. It's all good. Actually, I'm more excited about the conversation today because Chikodi is someone that I really admired. He had the first great impression he made in textiles was really nice, and I've always admired him from afar. And now he's in the pod, so it's fantastic. I'm having notes. I came with notes actually. Me, I'm
Ah,
here to learn to let it know. So if you're listening, just bring out a pen and paper, just write. Anything you say, just write it down. You might use it for something.
please,
Yes, so I take it to the bank and say Chikodi
Take it
said
to the bag.
and watch them give him.
please, but yeah, man, I'm excited to do the job.
Right. So I think that the first thing we want to talk about is building a network, right? So everybody always says network is good, network. Like if you're going for every event, they're like network, 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 network. But today, I think I want us to bring it back, like back to, should I say back home, which is for founders. Like, what are the common challenges that like you see that or you have ever experienced when it comes to building network? Like, for someone like me, I'm always very shy because I'm just like, do I have to talk? Do I have to introduce myself? But like, what are like the common issues you have noticed when building network? Like for someone like you, that if you come to a room, nobody leaves that room without knowing that Chikodi was there. But what are the general challenges that you have noticed?
Um,
Yeah,
I think
Chikodi.
I think the first one is that a lot of people don't see the need to network, and that in itself is already a handicap. If you do see a need to network, then you can be intentional about it. And then when we get to like tips on how to network, I think that was the first thing that I was saying, which is be intentional. So the very first thing is to overcome that hurdle of thinking this is the waste of my time, or this is not supposed to be my job. Um, I'm like my time is better suited coding, or my time is better suited doing PRDs, or I can be more valuable somewhere else. The answer is no. You are not more valuable somewhere else. You are more valuable, kind of evangelizing either your product or yourself. And yeah, so that's like the first challenge I see, that people deprioritize the need for network.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's actually very true. Like I think almost everybody faces it, that same part of, do I need to, must I? Right. Jam, what do you think? What are challenges you have personally experienced with networking?
I think if you really want to know someone, you have to be genuinely interested in the person. Right. So I don't know whether it's a skill or it's a gift. That's where I think that's what I want to ask Mr. Salah. Is it a skill? Is it something you can learn to say, I'm really interested in this, or is it something that is naturally in someone to as a gift to say, okay, because I think most networking is always about piquing the interest or trying to get more out of this person, and make them more comfortable. So what do you think on your end, Mr. Salad?
Yeah, I mean, thanks. The truth is both. Um, there are people who you speak to them and they make you feel like you are the only one in the room. Like genuinely, everything stops. They take you to a corner and it's like, everybody asks you how are you, but then there are some people that will ask how are you, and you genuinely feel like they want to hear a response. Um,
Yeah.
so that's actually like a gift, to be honest. To care is a gift, and it's something that people should kind of strive to be. But then the skill part of it is also that's also very doable. You find yourself somebody who isn't naturally inclined to um, go out of their way to want to know how other people are doing, or stuff like that. If you are intentional about it, the very first thing you can start by doing is being a very good, how much that will help you. I can give you a very, very valid example. So I'm talking to Adebisi now, and she's basically just telling me stuff. I'm consuming as much knowledge as I can, and I know what she needs, and I know what value she can, right? So I know her problems, and I know what solutions she can help with. So next time I talk to Jam, I'm also just listening, and same thing. I know where he can help, and I know where he needs help. And if the thing you need help with is something that the person can do, but have you spoken to, you know, this person? Oh, okay, really, really nice, nice person. I'll connect you guys. Like, worst case scenario, you make a new friend, and for all
Yeah.
you know, you guys hit it up, and then now you have two people within your network who basically you have like some deposits in your goodwill bank, right? And anywhere they are. So when it's time to, if I called any of you after doing the intro, you guys will most likely pick up, even though you don't know what it's about.
Yeah.
If I call, because like last time I spoke to this guy, he added value to me, just by listening and referring. So the next time I call, if I actually do need a favor, I call you like, look, do you do an intro to Emmanuel? He's like, oh, definitely. And then it's like, Emmanuel, Chikodi is a great guy, blah blah blah, and that's how basically networks are born. So I don't want people feeling like oh, I'm not a social person. It all
Yeah.
comes back to being deliberate about it and actually knowing your shortcomings. And if you know your shortcomings, then you can know how to kind of solve them. I used to be somebody who, maybe I wasn't too sure of myself. Anytime I got into a room, my immediate mission was to to advertise myself or advertise my skills. And what I did was I spoke more than I listened. It robbed me
Yeah.
of a great opportunity to learn about people. So you go into a room and you just tell people, oh, this and this and that. Well, you are very impressive. Okay, cool. And then you leave. I mean, how many friends have you really made? Just like talking a lot about it. You know what I mean? There's a
True.
time for everything.
Yeah.
There's a time to sell, but more often than not, listening will get you further than speaking.
And that's
That's
profound.
actually
I
very
mean,
spot on. Yeah, that's actually very spot on. Like,
I saw
very, very
Adebisi
spot
just
on.
typing every single thing you said right now.
I
So just
was actually, I was actually.
I mean, I think that's leading towards the next aspects, which I think a lot of people want to know um, from your perspective. Like, how do you actually get, you know, to build an actual network? What do you actually have to do? And I think I mentioned to you that, oh, we wanted 10, but I don't know if you have up to 10, if that's even possible.
Yeah,
But it's interesting to see because
yeah,
I know that if someone wants to be deliberate, for most people, it doesn't really come naturally. So they have to really intentionally say, okay, I'm coming into this room and I want to make a good impression. I want to get as many people to know me or to like me or to get acquainted with most people. So there is a way and there's a skill, and I'm sure that you have a lot of success stories that you've used and a lot of hacks that you've used. So I'm really interested in seeing like, you know, one or two or three or 10, hopefully,
hmm
those hacks that you've used that has actually paid off in the long run.
yeah. I will start with the background story. Then I will go
Nice.
into some things that work for me, and then I will go into another story of a personal story of mine. So the background story is my parents are pastors, right? Both my
Mm,
parents, my mother and dad, and both my parents are also academicians. I grew up on the campus in University of Lagos. That combination, church, I was a prince because my parents were the pastors, and then in the university, pretty much the same thing. I was treated like royalty because my parents were very senior people in university. And growing up, even up to now, I have people who just want to do stuff for me because of who my parents are, because of the goodwill that my parents kind of got, right? Um, Same thing with my sisters. So I'm the only boy. I have two sisters, two older sisters, and my sisters are the same. They are both dynamos. One is a country manager, one is a CFO. And literally, when they hear my surname, it's like, okay, are you related to? And it just, I'm telling you this because I want you to kind of see how important it is to build a network. Literally, I've
mhm.
lived, I feel like I've lived a charmed life. I basically walk into rooms. If anybody knows my surname, come to the front, right? Because of the networking that my parents and my siblings do. So the very first thing that you need to understand is that networking sometimes isn't just for yourself. It could be for your family. It could be for your business. Networking is transferable, right? Um, so it is super key. For anybody leaving this call thinking, it's not for me, it is. So in a country of 200 million people and resources are right? Resources are scarce, and the only way in which we can grow is through community, through communal growth, right? That's why you see a lot of associations in Nigeria, a lot of church groups, a lot of because people know that when you are able to be in like when you're able to be in a network, right? It basically accelerates your chances of success. And success is very broad. It can be anything. It could be secular success. It could be job, academic, whatever, right? So that's the backstory. I just want to understand that networking is super, super important. So disclaimer, right? The tips I'm going to be giving are things that have worked for me, right? Some
Yeah.
of them are general statements, some of them are things that I want to. The first thing is, I don't know what words I'm allowed to use on this podcast, but don't be a
Different.
don't be a douchebag. That's tip one. Don't be an a-hole.
Oh my god.
Do you understand? Just don't be a douchebag. It's very simple. Don't don't be mean to people. Don't just don't. Right?
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do without. If you are that person, you can make 10 million friends. If there's a couple people who are able to say, look, this person is a douche, basically dismantles, track record is everything, right? So don't be a douchebag, number one. Number two is you can't fake it, man. You genuinely need to um, either care about people or be intentional about trying to improve on that aspect. People can always tell. Um, you got to be intentional or you have to be naturally gifted, just like Jam said, right? Absolutely. Okay. Apologies,
Yeah.
he's saying something about network. Is that just me? Is that everybody?
No, we can hear you. We
Mm,
can hear you. You're good.
yeah, we can hear you. Or
Okay,
maybe you
for
can
now,
just maybe project a bit.
project for you.
Yeah, but I can hear you.
No, we can hear you.
Maybe just
Okay,
project a bit. Yeah.
okay, all right. So like I said, you absolutely need to care about people, or just be intentional about trying to care about people.
Yeah.
That's true. And then the third one, a lot of people do not understand this concept. Um, this is actually something super, super crucial into building a network. Just give, man. Add value. So I have it's usually a very strong technique used in sales. Um, I had a friend in when I went for nursing. He's Indian, superb guy. He meets you. He's already giving you stuff. He talks to you. By the end of the day, he sends you. Okay, what are your interests? What are you like? You like reading books? What do you want to do? You're like, okay. By the time you get home, he sends you free links. He has all sorts of coupon codes for discounts. It's like this guy is awesome, man. And he literally just like adds value continually. And he'll create a WhatsApp group, put everybody in there. Hi guys, I just got this LinkedIn code that gives me 50% off subscriptions. Got to share. Let me know if it works for you. He's a superstar, right? Everybody loves somebody who gives them free stuff. Okay, so just see like how many just give. And it's also for traders that is one of our core values of Techstars is like number one,
Excellent.
right? Just give,
Different.
you know. And what that does is I want you to think of your goodwill as a bank, right? Think of your goodwill as a bank, and you want to get as much deposits in your goodwill bank as possible. Literally, I mean, let's be frank, right? This is what I'm doing right now. Adebisi said I was her fastest, yes, because that's an opportunity for me to also get some goodwill in my bank, right? If I was doing a podcast and I called you, would you be more inclined to say yes or no?
Yes. Yes. I'm
Uh,
so saying yes already.
You know what I mean? Because you know, you were wondering, okay, who should I call? Should I call Chikodi? And very quickly, look, don't stress yourself. I'm going to do it for you. I'm doing this for you. You know, and it's like, okay, this guy got me. Like, and when I need you to guard me, you will guard
I got
me.
you. I got
yeah.
You know what I mean?
you.
So that's number one. Just like give, man. Just provide value. You can even go as far as being intentional about it. That look, every day I'm going to add value to one person without asking anything in return. Just the other day, like 2 days ago, I had an idea and I sent it to Banky. I'm like, Banky, do you think Pepper can use this? 2 a.m. Then 5 a.m. bank reply me. You know they sleep. It's like, man, I need to quickly. For something I think that they can really use. You know what I'm saying? I'm not thinking, bank, you have an idea.
Yeah.
You're going to give me 5% first. You know what I mean? Don't be transactional when it comes to stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just give and build your own. So next one I would say is, like I already mentioned, you need to listen more than you talk. Very, very important skill. Man, you'll be so surprised. Yesterday I was in a meeting and then somebody else joined the meeting and then we were three. And I just listened and there were two very, very, very famous CEOs of very famous startups. And then I just listened. It was going back and forth. Yesterday I learned about their families. I learned about all sorts, such that now like they, they feel closer to me because they've shared certain things about themselves, and I literally met them for like 20 minutes. Adebisi, I'm sure this is something that you also use very well in UX interviews. It's like, okay. What do you think about that? Even when you know the response, even when you know the answer to something, right? Just always try and hear the other person's point of view. It's like, oh, product management is so unique. Yeah, product manager, you're like, why do you think so? They're making you feel like they're teaching you stuff.
So,
True.
And then if you disagree, well, I may have contrary views, but I mean, this is just off the top of my head. Then it becomes like, what do you do? It's like, I'm actually a product manager. I'm like, oh, okay. Nobody wants to involve. He's like, oh, yeah, no, that you're wrong. I'm a product manager. I've also been Techstars. I know more than you. So, yeah. It's like, okay,
exactly.
thank you very much. I'm going over there, because
To
you are
see
not going
somebody
to
else.
yeah, so basically just listen more than you talk when you are in that. The next one is you need to show up. It's tough. It's tough, man. But you need to show up. When we're younger, I'm sure you hear your parents say, oh, I'm going to a burial in Jebu. I'm going
Yeah.
to a wedding in Ibadan. They're like, you just tell them I can't make it. Like, you're going to have 1,000 people there. They won't notice if you're not there. It's like, the stress, but this is what you do it for. You show up. Because then people show up for you, man. Obviously, you need to prioritize your health, but you need to extend as much of yourself as possible. People invite you to birthday parties, you go. I know you don't feel like you don't have what to wear. Oh, putting on makeup is stress. So you show up, right? In passing, somebody mentioned, oh, by the way, I have this thing I'm doing on Sunday. Oh, okay. Very little information. That's all. No reminders. You just show up. You're like, oh, you came. Wow, you're here. Yeah. I had a bunch of stuff to do today. I only have 10 minutes. So I really just wanted to come by, say hello. You have no idea the impact it makes to people. You literally show up. Somebody puts a random link on a WhatsApp group and says, hi guys, I'm going to be speaking at so and so. You have 10,000 things to do that day. You log in, they see you. It's like, wow, man. I didn't remind you, just dropped in a WhatsApp group. Okay. You need to show up. It's tough, but you need to prioritize. Showing up. So putting your calendar in order is very important. And prioritizing your time is super important. But I can tell you sometimes you are more like you achieve more leaving the house and being at an event for 15 minutes than you would be behind a computer doing research for 4 hours. Right? I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Just like show up. Go, be there. Go. The next one is prepare a budget.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I, I,
I didn't expect that one.
Oh
I
yeah.
didn't expect it to.
So now we're going to stage level. Yeah, because we are founders. We need this prepare a budget. And that budget can be used for little things as I just mentioned now cost money. because
Yeah.
somebody's only in VI. Uber go, Uber come is already 50. You know, that's what I'm saying. But you need to prepare a
Yeah,
budget,
exactly.
and then you maximize that budget. Is it cheaper for me to actually show up, or is it cheaper for me to send uploads? You know, what I'm saying? Now,
Yeah.
you know, when you're looking at ROI that way, then you need to prepare a budget. Let's not be naive about this. This thing will take time to take money. So prepare a budget. That way, you know that look, I put aside 20,000 naira every month to add value, to show up, and to basically just be there for other people. People in retail are fantastic with this. Right? You hear that somebody who has a shop will go to somebody else's shop to go and buy something, right? And
Yeah.
then that person to visit their own shop and buy something. You understand? So you put aside a budget. So I know that you are into plays. I see something. I see like a play online. It's five, on TikTok.com. It's super discounted. And it's like I've only run through 5K of my budget this month for for adding value. But I can 25 cents. It's like, oh, now yeah. I still have like 13.5 to go this month, to spend. When you deliberately put aside money, you are making it real. And then if you carry that money over to the next month, you know that you extend yourself enough. You put out more.
Yeah.
You should
That's
definitely put out
incredible.
more. What else can I say? Be authentic, man. Um, yeah, you can't fake it for too long. People will always kind of figure you out. I'm a nerd. Um, Anime, um, video games. Believe it or not, I didn't grow up with many friends. Um, most of my friends I made in secondary school in the latter like from SS1 when I started wearing trousers. Growing up, I had two friends and a cousin. That was it. We were nerds. We used to pluck fruits and ride bicycles. We didn't get invited to parties or nothing, So I've learned to kind of like be authentic with myself, and then you find your circle. It's better to be known as somebody who's consistent. It's better to be known by a small group of people as someone is consistent than to be known by a large group of people as somebody who is inconsistent. You hear
Yeah.
stuff like sometimes American accents, sometimes British accents. But you know what I mean? It's like, bro, you know,
Good, bro.
yeah,
Oh
don't go
my
into
goodness.
talking to like, you know, people of other races, like, oh yeah, right, yeah, it's totally. Oh, just be like authentic with be authentic. People love that, man. People love that. So once you're around people who are genuine, I would say you share. Just like put yourself out there. Share. More so now than ever. I've never seen a time as such as now where people feel more comfortable to consume other people's deep and personal, like things about themselves. Like literally, somebody will come. I mean, just look at the lady of used to wake up in the morning to make food for her at 5 a.m. or something.
Yeah.
You know, literally, she was telling her life. That is the absolute
Yeah.
truth, right? My daughter, when my daughter was young, I went through a period of withdrawal. I was a high level executive for many years, and then I resigned, and I was stuck in a house with a newborn and my wife, without graphs to plot, without sales funnels. So I became obsessive. I started plotting graphs around my daughter's eating habits and how many times in a day she food and I put together a slide, a slide. I put together a deck.
It became your
For
project.
this, thank you. It became my project, and I shared that project on LinkedIn, and
Wow.
it was like literally, I was like, look, guys, this happened to me. This is what I'm up to, and people was like so receptive. It's like, and they could relate. I really didn't do it for anything else, so just to share. You find that the people within your community, they are people who actually connect with you, as opposed to created content. So you to share, to grow your network. Um, so I said I was going to share a personal story. I'm going to tell you how I got my very first investor into Salah. Our very first investor into Salah. I got on a call with a VC who not only told me no, they weren't very pleasant, right? I did not think the guy was I did not think he was kind at all. So the call ended, and then somebody senior at the fund then reached out to me and said, hey, he was like, can you do me a favor? And I was like, no, are you not giving me money? You want me to also now do you a favor? So he says, I want you to hear this story. So he says somebody else who they actually invested in needs help because the person lives abroad. He's setting up operations in Nigeria, and he needs somebody with connections. So he's reaching out to me. Are you listening to this?
Yeah.
So
It's the audacity.
you want me to take time out of my own day to be helping your startup? Well, guess what? I said, okay, I'll do
Your
it.
portfolio company.
So I said, I'm going to do it. So the guy sent me, and so they told the guy, oh yeah, we found someone to help you in country. So that guy sent me a WhatsApp message, and then he was like, hi Chikodi, we were connected, and can we meet up for lunch? My sister, that day was such a tough day. Such a tough day. There were 10 million reasons why you should have told that guy I can't make that lunch. But I made it. I rushed in, palpitating, because my commitment, I told him I would be there. So I went. And then he told me literally all the things he needed help with. Can you help me with an intro to this person? Things that you had gone through my LinkedIn. I see I connected to this person. You did e-commerce before. I need connection. Giving me wish list. And the truth is, I actually did. So I just told him to send me an intro, and I did as many as I could for him. And after that, Oliver Twist, he came back. He came back and he said, not only does he need help this time, that he has hired somebody else, right, to look over his Nigerian operations, and he wants me to help that person too. Are you listening to this? At what point? At what point should I have told them that, look, my friends, can you please go up? I'm trying to do my own stuff. But then I was like, okay, you know what? Introduce me to the guy. So they introduced me to the guy, and that day the guy reached out to me. Was such a tough day, man. Like, I think I even just so I just told him, look, I'm actually on my way. I'm actually preparing for this investor. I just said it, like, look, unfortunately, I can't talk to you right now because I'm actually on my way to prepare for an investor interview. And I said the investor's name, and the guy was like, oh, okay, no problem. And I then felt kind of guilty for lashing out, and I told him, I can give you a call by 9 p.m. So the day went the way the day went. It was so long. But 9 p.m. I had not eaten. I made a commitment, so I made that phone call, and I called him. And I'm like, hey man, sorry about how I spoke to you earlier. I was caught up in so many things. And he was like, yeah, sure, no problem. And he gets it now, pressure. He then said, you mentioned you were going to talk to this particular investor, right? And I said, yeah. And he was like, that's funny because he actually knows the guys pretty well. I'm like, okay, my brother, how far now?
Brother.
So long and short
That is how
story.
your voice changed for me.
Yeah, long and short story. He did me a very strong recommendation, and we got funding. So it was a series of yeses where I could have said no, and it was a series of just being polite and helping, and that's literally how the story about how we got our first check.
Wow.
So yeah, I basically just want to just put that story in there to see that it's not going to be convenient. I'm not just telling you from a position of convenience.
Yeah.
It's not going to be convenient. Something that you need to deliberate about. It's going to take some time and it's going to take some money. Sometimes it's even going to take like some ego, you know, from your end. Um, but I can tell you, and now, I mean, that guy is my bro for life, you know, and he's pretty connected. So his entire connection is my connection now, is my network now. Um, he he used to like some private parties. I would go, and from those parties, I also connected to other people who became pretty close as well. So yeah, man, just from giving yourself, and being deliberate.
Yeah.
So that's about
Thank you. I
it.
mean, you gave us a lot to really think about, and I think one of the things that stood out is, you know, someone being deliberate enough, giving first, and showing up as much as you can, even when it feels that, and most of the time it would feel like, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I have a bad day,
Yeah,
but you essentially giving out time to say, okay, I have to be there, I have to do this, goes a long way. I told Adebisi that I'll start calling you network effects after this episode.
you start calling me network effect.
Network effects
Imagine,
after this. Oh
even a
my
mistake.
goodness! But Adebisi, what did you take out of this?
What did I think? That's you asking me to start an episode. Because if I say, um, I think the first thing that was very nice was being no, don't be a douchebag, and just listening to your story stood out to me because you actually could have given the same energy the person gave you,
Yeah,
and you didn't actually see the like basically like the investor didn't even come from the first person, he didn't come from the second person, like he came from the third person, like and just that just led to the second part of like you can't fake it. Like if you don't genuinely care. So if at the
Yeah,
beginning you actually didn't care, you could have just been like, please go away from here. Do you understand?
sure.
And it came from the second person, and now you saying that oh you and the person are like really connected, just like it's like just really care. And I like that you mentioned
Exactly.
about even if you do not genuinely like people. So you have people say things like, "Oh, I'm not a people person." I like that you mentioned that you can learn how to care about people. Like I think that was very spot on. Like learning how to care about people. Like it's a trait of something you can learn, and that was very spot on. The budget part, I didn't even see it coming. Like I actually didn't see it coming. I'm like,
yeah.
and that's what about it when you were explaining about it. That like it actually takes work, right? I have a question there, but I think I most likely ask that like later on. But like
No
that
no
really stood
pressure.
out to me.
There
That
can be an
like that
amount.
really like
Literally,
stood out to me.
there can be an amount literally within
Yeah.
your. It can be as little as 5K, and you know that 5K is for data. So you're going to
Yeah.
use 5K data to. It's literally how you want to. Um, I want you to think of your network as a tree, right? You think of your network as a tree, and you need to prune, you need to nurture, you need to give that plant, you need to give that tree attention. Let's not say a tree, let's say a plant, because a tree is like self-sufficient. Like think about it as a plant. You need to water that plant, you need to trim that plant, you need to put nutrients in that plant, or else that plant is going to like wither, right? So just think about it that way. Um, as little as you can, just always make sure that you are trimming that tree, yeah, or that plant as frequently and as much as
Yeah. I think that's really good. So let me ask the question. So the question I have here is you mentioned about having a budget and knowing maybe when to show up and when to like really send a gift. Do you want to talk more about like in a case where you want to make a decision of should I actually send a gift? Should I actually show up myself? Like what do you think you should consider when you want to do the two? And just should you do, oh, would this one give me more ROI? Should it be something like, oh, this one has the effect of generating me more ROI, so I should show up. Or I think that a quick fix to not showing up is sending a gift. Like, do you want to
Mhm.
speak quickly to that?
Yeah, so I mean, is there's no hard and fast rule, which is great. First of all, you're not dealing with strangers, you're dealing with people that you know, and you're dealing with people that you know. Adebisi, for instance, if I know that you really like books, right? You really, really like books, and there's one particular book you've been looking for, and it cost me 3-5, right? I know that book, sending you that book, will be more, it will have maybe a better effect than coming over to your office to say happy birthday, and or maybe even I can do both. So it's really about the person, you know, if you are genuinely trying to, you know, be there or show up for that person, what does that person want most? What's possible for you? As much as possible, right? Always kind of show up, make the phone call, show the effort. Because it's really not about the what, it's about the why, right? So you want what you want the person to think like why is this person doing this? Because the person cares, the person genuinely wants to support me, you know. So for instance, you go to somebody's store and you want to support them, right? You made the drive down, you want to support them by buying something. Whether you buy something of 3,000 or something of 6,000 is not particularly relevant. This person came all the way from the mainland to my store launch on the island on a Monday and bought something.
Hmm.
You could have bought something of 6K, no. You understand my point? So it's all about
Exactly.
what is possible for you to pour out of yourself. Like I said, you also want to prioritize your health, and you don't want to seem transactional, right? So what is possible? So my day to day is blocked. For me to show up for anybody is going to be very, very difficult. But if I have money I can use to extend my well wishes, I will do. If not, I can find 10 minutes to do a video call, or I can do a phone call, or I can call somebody in the party and say, can you put it on video? Let this person see me. And you just want to let them know that you're there. That's basically the root of it. So how you do your how, I leave it, get creative. You know. This are the business budget. And I better be on your budget list. This is what they're hammering on this budget. Those be like 1 million and
Ah,
starting.
yeah, my budget. I have added you. I'm even giving you 2 slots here. 2 slots. So I think that the next question or the next route I think I want to ask is Starlight is backed by two global venture capital, like two VCs, like powerful ones. Like so and I know that when applying for these things, right, sometimes it can be network recommendation. But apart from that, like what are those key things or maybe just two things that everybody should consider when applying for any founder should consider when applying for um, things like this, like when trying to get a company to back them or when trying to apply for an accelerator? What are those things that like people underestimate that are very key and you think that they really helped you when we're applying for these two global pieces?
So we're talking about accelerator specific, right? So, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you are right. I've done two accelerators. Um, I have and I've also kind of found out. I think maybe one of the reasons why we're a fit, and it has also given me some insight into how accelerators operate or what they're looking for. The very first thing is you want to make sure that you match your thesis, right? Do not expend your energy. They say it's an AI focused accelerator. It is a blockchain
True,
specific
actually.
accelerator. Please, if you are doing confirm to table, that is not a crypto specific. Please, like there are agri specific, they are like just find your thesis, right? Make sure that you stick with the thesis. That's the very first thing. And the second thing is, I'll tell you what I look out for. When people ask me this question, the kind of advice I give them. The very first thing is conflicting. Some people tell you the very first thing they look at is the team. But I will tell you the very first thing is the problem. right? The problem. What problem are you solving? Man, the way you draft that problem statement, right? For me, man, is like that's where the most effort should be. Like somebody said, oh, she's doing this example, but yeah, you just need to make sure that your problem statement is very clear. Because in your problem statement is your why. Why am I going to get up in the morning when it's tough? Why am I not going to leave this startup when I don't get funding? Why would I go through the stress and tears and blood of building this thing is in your problem statement, right? So your problem statement needs to be strong. And I'm not saying it needs to be like, oh, happening to like a billion people. No, it needs to be like this group of people have this problem and this is the effect it's having on them, right now. And if left unchecked, this is how this problem is going to exponentially impact even more people in the future or the planet in the future. You understand what I'm saying? So your problem statement needs to be so strong, man. Even way, way stronger than your solution, because your solution is going to change more often than not. That is, your solution is a how, right? Your why should not change. Your why is why you wake up in the morning. Your why is why you are doing this. But your how, there are many ways to solve a problem. But that problem is the key. So the next thing is team. I know they say it a lot. They're like, oh, looking for passionate founders. Yeah. So what they are looking for is, can I be candid? Something like you guys, right? You guys, I see as a very good example of what a good team is. If I had to like draw, if I had to draw like a template for a good team, it would be you guys. And the very first thing is you guys genuinely can stand one another, right? It's not, oh, he does this very well and he does this very well, so they are compatible. It's not an arranged marriage, right? You guys genuinely can stand one another because there's going to be so much that goes into your entrepreneurial journey that are going to test your likeness for one another, and you want to ensure that at the foundation of it, these guys can actually get along, right?
Exactly.
So that's one thing they'll be looking out for. Secondly is support. Human beings will falter, right?
Yeah.
When you are having an off day and you are just in the red, you cannot process much. You are struggling. You didn't sleep before. The other guys, you feed off their energy and they can kind of cover for you, right?
Exactly.
What else? Diversity in opinions. You're not okay. Well, I didn't see it that way. So, and then obviously, what are you doing? You are doing banking, right? But you are doing fintech, which is financial technology. But both founders, one used to be a baker, and the other one used to grow carrots in the north. I appreciate your problem statement. I appreciate the solution. It sounds good, but I'm not sure you guys are the ones to execute. You have the passion, but you don't have the skill. Can you hire? Yes. But what does this mean? Domain knowledge does not reside with the founding team. There's also going to be a what they call this thing, a latest, like a time for you to learn. Okay, so it's becoming less attractive. So they want to see, can these guys stand one another? Are they genuine friends? At the foundation of it, the rest of it, you can kind of like figure out, do they have domain knowledge about the space in which, the problem in which they are trying to solve? Are they the guys to execute this solution that they are? And the last bit, so like I said, problem statement, team, and the last bit I'll say is skill, right? Are there enough people that have this problem that are willing to pay for it, that will make a big business. I'll
Yeah.
take that again. Are there enough people that have this problem that are willing to pay for it, right? That are willing to pay
Yeah.
for it, that will make a big. So scale is number 3, and there are 2 ways to show that. Number 1 is to actually show that you've done it, which is traction, right?
Mm.
This is the problem. These people really, really have this problem. I'm betting on the fact that they have this problem is so stressful for them, they are willing to pay me to solve it. And I was right. I built out this crude MVP and they are giving me money. What do you think will happen when I build out the real product? Right?
Yeah.
That's number 1, traction. Number 2 is storytelling. You don't have an MVP out. You don't have traction yet. Use your words to paint it out to me. Use data
Okay.
to paint it out to me. Right? When we were starting out, we had very little traction. Our was literally with pins and needles, but our story was so relatable that 300 million people have this problem. Almost everybody that read our deck had that problem at some point in time. When I was employed, before my next paycheck, I went through a cash flow issue, so they got it, right? If it happened to them, happened to their wife, happened to their sister, they get it, right? So if you don't have traction and you can't show that you've actually done it, then you need to storify it very well, you know. And yeah, I think everything else too also just needs to be like the art of using words and numbers to get somebody who knows nothing about the problem, who knows nothing about your environment, to be able to enter that story and understand. They feel your passion for the problem. They feel like, look, if I don't back this guy is not going to stop. He's going to go somewhere else. When it gets tough, this guy is not going to stop. This is the guy.
This is the
You
guy.
know, like this is the guy. And if for some reason maybe you're not there, like they will tell you, look, come back when you've been able to like show some viability on this particular side of maybe your problem statement is strong, but the way you're solving it is like people have this problem, farmers have this problem, but I want to build a mobile app for them. It's like you're not thinking about it the right way.
You're not, you're not thinking
You know,
about it so
your MVP is iOS. You know what I mean? Like you're not thinking about it the right way. So maybe it's like, go back, think about it some more, do some more research. It's just like you are very connected to the problem, but I think you're very disconnected about how you to solve it. So
I think what you just said is so important, especially the first part you mentioned about the problem statement. Just being able to articulate the problem in a very deeper way than most people would, because you have something, some unique insights about the pain points that your customers are facing. So it's really, really profound. And what you mentioned about a lot of things can go wrong. A lot of things can go wrong in the process of building, and you just want to be able to look at your partner and say, okay, I feed off like Adebisi now. Adebisi works so hard and sometimes I'm so tired. I don't even want to work at all. When I see Adebisi work, I'm like, okay, there's still fire.
yeah,
There's still ginger somewhere. So okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. So I can get the aspect of like energy and being able to feed off your team members. And like scale, because I think the scale part is really important, because sometimes you might not be the best storyteller, and sometimes the solution that you're doing, your investors might not even know anything about it. They might not have experienced it. So the best way to really tell the story is with numbers. There you can tell the story with a great numbers, with great traction, and they can see the viability around what you're pitching. So that's also very important. We're winding down um, the, to the end of our episode, the first episode. And we have a tradition. It's a new tradition now, where we ask we ask some of the weirdest questions
I'm not giving you
in the
my
pod.
I'm not giving you my ATM pin in case that's one of the questions. Can't trick me.
Because no, don't worry, don't worry. We're not asking for. Maybe we can ask after you get, in case you want to spend your money after.
Off camera.
Off camera. Yes, exactly. In spite of you giving first.
Yeah, so give first. No, I'll give advice. Advice is worth more than gold.
Advice is very easy.
It's worth more than gold. I'll give you more than gold.
So this portion is called Light Up. We ask a lot of questions, and we also want to build like a playlist of songs from all the guests that we on board. So we can always share the playlist outside. So what's Chikodi really listening to? All your fans out there will be like, let's go and check this playlist. So know exactly what's going on here, and we'll publish it out to make sure that everybody is part of it. So the first question I have is, what's the weirdest feedback you've ever gotten from an investor? Like when you always look back into that conversation, you're like, okay. And it doesn't have to be negative. It could be positive as well. It just has to be really strange on your own part.
Man, I really want to name drop. Because this particular investor, I personally think he's a douche. He has very similar feedback from other founders, and I just like, I really want to name drop, but I won't. So we want to call, which he's the general partner, and him and an associate were scheduled to be on the call, and he didn't come on time. So me, my co-founders, and the associate were on the call, and then he comes in like in the middle of the call. You know, he just put on his mic, and then his face was so close to the camera. I don't know. I mean, he was lying down or something, and then he just came. He said, why are you guys valued so high? Why are you valued so high? Why are you valued so high? He literally just interrupted our conversation, and the associate was so pleasant. We're having such a good conversation, and then he was like, why are you guys valued so high? Okay, you want to raise money like your big friends in Lagos, right? I mean, come on, come off your high horse. No, how did he say it? He said, come back down to earth, is what he told me. Come back down to earth. This valuation is too high. Let's get it to this particular level, and then we can talk. Okay, all right. And then he left the call. And even the associate was so embarrassed. It was just like, my co-founders were so mad. You couldn't even, like, their faces changed. It's like,
imagine.
It's like, what? And but I had to be like, yes. No problem. Immediately I was like, what a douche. So that was a very bad experience. And that was very weird feedback.
That's definitely weird.
That's very weird. I can't, and I know that you have plenty, but don't worry, this is our Light Up. So we'll move to the next question. So what's your favorite song right now? We'll add that. We'll make it public and add it to our playlist. What's the song that you're vibing with? And you can pick. I think you can make like 3. You can pick your top 3 favorite songs at the moment.
Oof. Honestly, this flavors Agbabola is my jam right now. I'm not even gonna lie. That's my jam right now. Which one is that Go Big or Go Home song? Go Out or Go?
Go Big or Go Home. Oh, I know the song. I don't know the.
Yeah. Okay. Look, you know what? So I'll give you guys like hacks. Like these are some of my. Since you want to know, like me personally, anytime I want to get hyped for like a meeting or like a call, there's a song I sometimes play. Right?
Okay.
It is Baddest Boy by Wizkid and EME. And
wow.
Anytime,
that's a hype song, bro. That's actually a hype song.
Anytime I have nerves, once I just listen, like they know rich.
It goes.
Yeah.
Rachel.
So that's like my hype song.
No.
Then obviously like anytime I want to like listen to gospel, like Victor Thompson, anything like that puts out, he has this particular medley that you know. So Victor Thompson's medley. Yeah, I have some weird ones. I would have been more prepared if I had that question. But those three, I think, if yeah, those are me right now. That's me.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Fair enough.
Um, yeah, if anything, I have the same thing for Baddest Boy. Like it's a very
No,
hype up song.
are you
I
serious?
swear to you, I have the same thing for Baddest Boy.
Oh
Once
my
you
god!
get it, he just keeps you in the level that okay,
I'm the
once I get
baddest
here, I'm going
boy.
to kill it.
I'm
Eh.
trying to yeah.
Oh, the other thing is around books. What's your favorite book that you can recommend to anyone right now? I feel like will add enough value to them. And what is your favorite movie right now?
Oof. Okay. So books. My response, and I'll be very frank. My default response is the Bible, right? But I'm going to tell you another book.
Nice.
No. So it's not like literally. I'm not even trying to clown. The book is. It seemed like it's living, right?
Hmm.
Somebody may read a verse in 2021, and it will mean something different to somebody else who reads another time. It's ridiculous. Um, there's literally every lesson about human beings you find in the Bible. How
Yeah.
to treat employees, how to treat investors, how to Jesus thought of everything. You know, literally, like, and this is not just like reading the Bible out of like being a spiritual, like if even if like I wasn't a Christian, like I would read like the Bible is so wow. Like even on to project management, right? You know, how to yeah, it's just perfect. So the Bible is a super book. If I had some free time to invest, I'll definitely go in there. But then there's one book that somebody recently recommended to me. It's called Shape Up. Shape Up
K-pop.
is the Shape Up. Yeah, it is the story of Basecamp. I've heard of a startup called Basecamp.
Never heard of them, but I'll check them.
Oh wow!
What they
So
do?
Basecamp, they're like $1 billion company. They're like Slack. So Basecamp,
Oh, okay.
like yeah, it's a work and collaborative tool. But then they've gone on to build some other things, very interesting things. So that book is very I haven't finished it, so that's disclaimer. But something that I say almost every CEO needs to kind of like, read on how to be nimble, how to be agile, and stuff like that. So those two books, man, the Bible, oof, what a book. Telling you, telling you, telling you how to handle conflict, how to how
There.
to be empathetic, how to be ambitious. It's a time for everything, time to sell, time to listen. Ah, whatever industry you are in, if it's work, if it's personal life, whatever it is, you know, the Bible is it, my guy.
Oh my goodness. This is going to be an amazing episode. I don't even know what to say. One last thing. One last thing. So we have a lot of people that listen, like early stage founders, work employees, and
Don't do it, don't do it,
and all.
don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't resign, go back to your job, don't do it, no. Abort. I'm clowning, please. I'm clowning. What's the question?
What would you tell someone that wants to start a company? Don't do it. Oh my
I
goodness.
think that
I think
answers
that's
it.
we.
Yeah,
That's the answer.
I'm joking, please, what's the question?
Yeah. So what would you say to someone that is Um, starting out to think of an idea to get a team together? What's that? Just one advice that you can give to the person right now, that would go a long
I
way.
think it should be second advice because I was giving the first advice. So just in case you still want to
So,
continue.
yeah, yeah. So
Just in case you want to
that's
continue.
no. So I'll be candid, right? Um, so I gave a talk to the primary six students at my kids' school, and it was and all of them, like, kids today have changed, right? I asked them, okay, what do you want to be? Almost every one of them had something entrepreneurial. Even the one who said she wanted to be a YouTuber or something.
Mm.
All of them were entrepreneurial, and one of them in particular was very clear. His motivation was money. He was like, look, this particular profession makes so much money, so this is what I'm going to focus on, which is okay. If you double down, if you can find a motivator, kind of like double down on, and you have laser focused, this is what I'm going to be in life. I'm going to be rich, and this is what I want to do. Personally, I feel like it is a house built on shaky foundation, but there are a lot of shaky foundation houses that will never crumble. So it's not first choice, but what? Anyways, the advice I would give, just like I gave them, was one word: conviction. Right?
Okay.
You need to be convinced. Right? You need to have such a strong conviction, and it all stems from the passion for the problem. The problem is you need to be so passionate for the problem that you are convinced that if I don't do something about this, right, it's not going to get solved. Right? You need to be
Yeah.
convicted within you that, look, this is a problem, and I'm willing to dedicate my life into solving this problem. Right? That's number one.
Mm.
Do not do it as a money move. Do not do it. The funniest, when people say, oh, my job is too tasking, so I'm going to go do my own thing to also have more time for myself. You guys have heard that one before, have you?
That'd be good.
No, it's the opposite. If you are listening to me and you're one of those people, I say, yeah, I'm going to do my own thing so I can control my own time. It's not going to be that way. So you need strong conviction. That's number one. Number two is your support system you need like the buying of your support system. So if you're married or you have a girlfriend, or is going it's going to be like startup business in the beginning. Oof, it's going to test your friendships. It's going to test your faith. It's going to test it's going to test a lot of things, and you really want the closest people to you to be around. You may even get a little moody. You may not want to go out as much. You may like your complexion may change a little bit. But you want the closest, but it doesn't last forever. You want the closest people to you, and it's kind of like be aware, like you want them on that journey, because that's what it is, a journey, right? You need to understand that you're embarking on the journey. Number three is build with people you like, man. Like, like build with people that you have fun with, man. Like that you guys can laugh over your mistakes and be like, man, you goofed to, wow, we got it wrong, bro. We were so wrong. Yeah, like you do zero, bro. And then you just be like, yeah, but now we know how not to do it. Let's get back on that horse.
Yeah.
A lot of contrary advice will come about, oh, try and get people on your team that have certain, just because they have certain credentials or they say they have certain skill sets. Building is tough enough, man. You really don't want to be building with people that you can't trust or
Yeah.
you don't like. It's worse. Rather be alone. To find people you genuinely like, man. He's an old classmate, or like somebody, let's say, just like I introduced Jam and Adebisi, and after speaking
Mm.
about whatever, you guys just like met up for. You guys said that you have a lot of stuff in common. Yeah, it's like you want to do something crazy. Like, let's see how it goes. I mean, let's do this thing. So like, yeah, man, just build the people you genuinely like. Prepare for the journey. Get your closest people along with you, and you need to be convicted that without you, this problem is not going to get solved. And that is what will keep you going. And that is what people are going to see and back you when they see that
Yeah.
you are not doing it because fintech is in, or because climate is in, or because AI is in. You are doing this because this guy has a personal connection to this problem, and it's not going to stop, right? He's going to pivot as many times as it takes to figure this stuff out,
Eat that.
right? He's going to do it. This guy's going to do it eventually. You know what I mean? So that's basically what you want to project, and you can't project it if it's not true. So
Thank you so
I
much.
tell my children come and tell me they got a call from God. I'll ask to see
Wow.
the call log. Show me on your phone where God called you. You know, because entrepreneurship is a calling. That conviction is a calling. Genuinely. Most people are trying to do it because they want more time for themselves and stuff like that. It's very fickle.
Thank you so much. Thank you. This is going to be probably one of the best episodes we've ever done. So I really appreciate you for coming on.
Hopefully,
And thank you so much for, I think you just need to clap because I don't know. Thank you so much. I
I don't
learned a
know how
lot.
you have the words. Yes, I
Yeah, like
do.
it was
I've not been
so
writing, guys. I've been writing
wonderful.
since, so I don't,